Hey, Russell Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. I do these daily check-ins daily, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And the day I don't do it, which is Tuesday, I do on air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show that everybody's talking about. So hope you guys are doing well. Happy Hump Day! I love Wednesdays because I get to say Hump Day. So live from LA here. I normally have a topic for these daily check-ins. I don't just come on and just spew out information just because I think I can, right? But no, I actually have a topic today. And if you didn't check out on air with Russell of Hotels yesterday, please, that was show number 240, excuse me. Show number 240. You can go back and check it out. The replay is still there, right? I don't get rid of any of my replays, so you can feel free to go back. And yesterday's topic had to do with building your credibility on social media, right? So if you're interested in that, that brand credibility, you spend so much time building up your personal brand and all that kind of stuff, and the whole world knows about it. Well, how do you become credible? I mean, how do you become that go-to person, if you will, to answer questions about certain things or whatever. So, but anyway, let me turn on the, excuse me, I got kind of choked up. Let me turn on the chat. Feel free to make your comments, say, hey, what's going on? Hey, good seeing you, whatever, whatever you want to say. I appreciate it. And I'll make sure I put your comments on the screen. So I am live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Okay. Instagram kind of, I don't know what happened to them. They kind of just like disappeared. Well, they asked for every now and then, I guess, you have to insert like I don't know, you have to upload something. I can't remember what it is. It's like a code. And I guess maybe I'm too lazy to get the code to put it on there, but I'll figure it out one day, right? So, but yeah, so you have to insert a code into Instagram, and that allows you to go live, because you just can't push a button and say, go live, boom. Okay. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that. Let me see. Oh, happy Valentine's Day, right? Today's Valentine's Day. Did I mention that? So happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. And hopefully you got your candy, your flowers, and you're going to dinner or whatever, if you have a Valentine. So, have at it, have fun, enjoy yourself. So anyway, let's just move on before I start singing, okay? So let me move this stuff down. I don't know why when I do this, it's like over my head, So a couple of things here, as you can see, I'm kind of moving. That doesn't even look right. Okay, let me just move this on this side. See, you can do things on the fly. Okay, so Marriott, check this out. Marriott net income for fourth quarter of last year, 2023, right? That was, October, November, December. $848 million? Maybe that's total. Hopefully that's total net income, $848 million. And that's up from 673 from the previous year. Everything's always compared to the previous year. So this is great, right? So that's like 170 million, 175 million difference between it. So they made 175 million more last year than they did the previous year. That's great, right? So does that tell you that this whole pandemic thing is kind of in the rear view mirror now? Hopefully that's what that means, right? Because everybody's always trying to, let's get back to 2019 numbers. Let's move forward from that, okay? And I mentioned this before. 2019 numbers, that's unrealistic, okay? So let's just work, on the previous year. Did we do better than the previous year? That's how because the pandemic, that's an anomaly. Hopefully that does not happen again. An anomaly means it probably won't happen again, right? So it's one of those rare occurrences. So why don't we just pick up from where we left off? Okay, if it's 2019, okay, 2020. Let's say 2020 was 2021 was the best year since the pandemic, right? So let's just start comparing things to that. So 22, you compare to 21. 23, you compare to 22. Okay, and so on and so on and so on, right? Let's stop worrying about what happened in 2019. Let's move forward past that, people, okay? So yeah, so congratulations to Marriott. You know what? I'm a big Marriott fan. I've always been a big Marriott fan, probably because I started with Marriott. I started my career 150 years ago with Marriott, and they didn't let me down. You know what I mean? So when people ask me, they say, "Hey, what is the best hotel company?" I said, "Well, what do you mean by best hotel company?" I come from a perspective of training and things like that. So when I first started in hotels, I had no formal training in hotels, anything like that. So I got my training from Marriott, right? You know, with SOPs and I mean, there's no deviation from any of that stuff, right? So you went from the front part of the SOPs to the back part and everything in between, right? Because everything that you needed to do was in those SOPs. So that was my introduction into my first hotel company, which was Marriott International, right? So it was a great experience for me, right? So moving forward and seeing as a consumer and hotels that I work with, people that come up with Marriott, and just remember this: just because it says Marriott on the building, does that mean those people were trained by Marriott corporate? Okay, a lot of hotels now are franchised, okay, meaning they're managed by management companies. They're not managed by the ownership or the corporation. When I came up, most of the hotels were corporate run or corporate managed. So that's the big difference. And people don't think that's a big difference, but that's a huge difference because you're dealing with management companies that basically rely on your last experience. Whatever that experience was, okay, all right, let's go. Let's go for it. A lot of them don't have the SOPs. A lot of them don't teach you how to do certain things, right? You're kind of like, whatever past experience you had, okay, you're going to bring that experience with you. So if it was with a corporate property, then okay, great. But if it was not, if it was with another franchise property, okay, that's great too, right? Well, there's something to say about coming up with that culture and all that kind of stuff. Some people will maybe disagree with me, but I think most people will, especially if you came up and you drank the Kool-Aid like I did. Okay, so the Kool-Aid was good. Okay, so but yeah, no, I have nothing but great respect for the company, and it was just so easy. Remember like payroll deductions and stuff like that. So everything would come out of your check. You didn't have to, like your investments and all that stuff, vacation time. Every payday, you just check your paycheck stub, and everything would be there. How much money they took out for this, for that, like 401k, and for your insurance and all that kind of stuff. Everything would just be itemized right there. And if you had questions, you just call Marriott Corporate, whatever benefits or whatever, and they would go through it with you. I mean, it was so simple. I remember getting like savings bonds. Like, do they still do that? You can get savings bond, like $100 savings bond will only cost you, $50 or something like that, right? And it would all be through payroll deduction. So to me, it was great. I mean, coming up in that environment, I needed that as a 22, 23-year old, right? When I came out, right? Because it was so easy. They say, "Oh, you got to do this." Like, what is it? Well, no, just do it. Don't even worry about it. I remember people just saying, "Just do it." You know what I mean? Do the 401k. Although I didn't know what it really was at that time, but I did it, and of course that helps you out. That hey, whenever I get to that point of retirement, I'm like, hey, well, let me go back to that Marriott of, retirement and 401k and all that kind of stuff. So, boom, there you go. So anyway, I don't know why I got onto that, but no, I just appreciate Marriott and congratulations to them, right? So I'm all for it, right? I'm here for it. I've done business with Marriott's over the last couple of years. Well, last year I think I did. I would say if I did 10 meetings last year, probably 7 of those were at a Marriott property. There you go. So boom, there you go. So yeah, so no, I'm all in. So okay, so that's done. Okay, so once again, congrats to Marriott. We appreciate you. Boom. And just so happens all the hotels I'm showing today are Marriott properties. So this is the Westin LAX, just in case you wanted to know what this backdrop was. LA Hotel Union strike update. Okay, so I hadn't been talking about this in a while because, quite frankly, I thought it was over, right? But remember that each individual hotel is responsible for their own union agreement. Now, this is only LA I'm talking. Okay, so don't say, "Oh, Russell Hotel said there's strikes going on everywhere." No, I'm speaking specifically of the LA Hotel Union strike. I want to say it's Unite 11. Yeah, I think it's Unite 11. Housekeeping, right? So they had been on strike since before the 4th of July. So I think it was a week before the 4th of July weekend they went on strike. So that's like late June, right? Okay, so they've been on strike since then, and some hotels have settled it, meaning they have their own agreement and they've agreed to that to the agreement, right? Meaning the hotels agreed to the union. And not to go into great detail of this, um, but I think the big thing here is that the hotel, I mean, yeah, the housekeepers over the next 4.5 years, they're getting a $10 increase. Okay, so let's just say they were at $16. I think is it $16 that $16 per hour. Now it went up to, if that's 10, that's $26, right? So they're up to like $26, probably a little bit more than that, right? Depending on the hotel or whatever. But they're at least at $26. In the next 3.5 years, they will at least be at $26 an hour. Okay, so that's what I got out. Of course, I got people everywhere, right? So I have these conversations with people, and they're like, hey, what's going on with the strike? Or I asked what was going on with the strike and said, well, hey, because I thought it was over. I said, hey, now the strike is over. He said, well, wait a minute. The strike is over for some hotels. It's not over for every hotel, because remember when I started this, each individual hotel has their own agreement with the union. Okay, so these are LA County. Remember, I can't remember the number of hotels out there that were union, but there's a lot of them. I want to say, was it 60, over 60 hotels in LA County that are union, and pretty much LA County, the LA City, those are the ones that are downtown for the most part. Okay, so those for the most part, and the ones at the airport, LAX, those are the LA hotels, right? But then when those go on strike, and then the other ones at Beverly Hills and all these other ones, basically in LA County, they're going on strike as well, right? But the union only wants, for the most part, the big box hotels. They want the ones that have, there's the ones with restaurants that are operating at least breakfast and lunch. Okay, that's kind of like a criteria from what I understand, right? So, so it's just interesting how it's not over yet. Some hotels have settled, but there's still hotels that have not settled, right? So, and there's a lot of other stuff that comes along with this. You agree to this, and then there's some other things going on too. I think the biggest losers in here, and people may not look at it like this. They may look at, well, they got to increase 4.5 years over 4.5 years to $10, a $10 increase over 4.5 years. You would think the employees, benefited for all this. No, the employees are pawns in this whole scheme, right? So, I'm not trying to badmouth. I'm not trying to badmouth the union, nor am I trying to badmouth the hotel owners or management companies or whatever, whoever's running these things. But the employees are stuck in the middle, is what I'm saying. So, union said they're doing it for the betterment of the employees. Well, maybe that part of it is, but of course, union does things because they get union dues. So, there you go. More money gets more political power, right? So I'm just saying, the people in the middle are the ones that normally get hurt the most, right? So we think that, oh, they're making this, they're making that. Yeah, but what's the pension like? What is their pension like? I mean, are they being taken care of that? Because every union in a hotel is not the same, right? What about talk about the engineering union, or some of the other unions within the hotel? Are they all the same? Are they all treated the same? Are they all getting the same like pension that everyone else is getting? I don't think so. But anyway, is what it is. I just want to give you an update of what I know, right? So there you go. But for the most part, in the next 4.5 years, there'll be a $10 increase, hourly increase, for the Unite 11, which is the housekeeping union. So just want to give you guys a quick update on that. That was it, right? So because I hadn't talked about that in a minute, let's see what's next. I got anything else next? No, I got Marriott Bonvoy. So like I said, I'm showing all Marriott properties today. So of course I can't show all the properties without mentioning, Marriott Bonvoy. Are you guys Marriott Bonvoy members? I am, right? So, and in fact, you know what? Everyone needs to be, right? Just sign up. It's free. right? Just sign up. It's free. I was an old, Marriott Rewards member, right, and just transferred over when Bonvoy came in and whatever. But it's the same thing. It's free. You get that free Wi-Fi. You get all that stuff. So that, at the very minimum, I'm gonna get that, right. So that's what I'm interested in. So, but other than that, let me see what else I have. Nah, that's it. If you have any questions at all, I try to keep these things short and sweet if I can. With how much time? 15 minutes. I mean, it's already been 15 minutes, right? So, what is Andrew Kagan saying? Let me just put this comment on here. Can I do this without? Okay, there we go. Free Wi-Fi, as if. Yeah. Well, hey, it is what it is, right? So it should be free. But I always say the free Wi-Fi. Just remember this. I mean, it's good to get free Wi-Fi, I guess. Yeah, but remember that you're sharing that Wi-Fi with other people. Okay. So hotels will give you an option. You get the free Wi-Fi, or they give you two other options, meaning the middle of the road where you pay like $20 or something like that for every 24-hour period, or you get the other one. No, it doesn't. It costs them nothing. That's not true, Andrew. That is not true. It does cost them something. What do you think? The company, you think the Wi-Fi company, the company that provides Wi-Fi for hotels, they don't charge the hotel? Come on. Come on. I see Chris Black. Hey, Chris, what's going on? Hey, cousin, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, congratulations, Chris. You know what? I happened to look at the thank you, Jim. But before I get into that with Andrew, let me just address this. Chris got Rookie of the Year for he drives for FedEx, right? So Chris was named Rookie of the Year for driving for FedEx, right? And I mean, there's hundreds, probably thousands of truck drivers out there, right? So yeah. So congratulations, man. I just happened to see, I saw that like last week, 2 weeks ago, but I didn't read it. I read it like this morning or last night. Like, oh shoot, it's a big deal. Let me put this up here. So let me talk about this next time. Yeah. So he got Rookie of the Year for FedEx, right? So good job, man. You keep it going, man. That's my family. Okay, so there you go. So anyway, getting back to this thing, Andrew mentions, okay, I'm talking about free Wi-Fi, right? So he said it costs the hotels nothing. It does cost the hotel something, okay? Do you honestly think, and this is for everyone else out there, right? Do you honestly think that the company who provides Wi-Fi, if that's AT&T or whoever, right, was going to give a hotel the Wi-Fi for free? No. Do they give regular consumers it for free? I don't get it for free here. No. So why would they do that for a hotel? No, they don't. It does cost something. Thank you, Jim. Great update. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see. And Jim says, yes, it sure does cost the hotel. And then Andrew says, what do I know? Obviously nothing. You're correct. That's the best thing you've said. That's the most accurate thing you've ever said in the years that I've known you. Oh my goodness, that was a good one. You walked into that one too. So yeah, so no, it does cost. I can't remember the cost because it's a line item on the P&L. Jim probably could talk more about it than I can, but Jim can talk more about it because he was a CEO of a management company. So I know he knows exactly that it costs money, and it's probably not cheap, okay? But hotels were giving it away for free, right? So, and they still do because they want people. For Marriott's philosophy, if you look at some of their spaces, their lobbies, they want communal space. They want people to congregate, network, and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of like their philosophy. So in order for them to do that, they have to give something free. Now, you give something that the Wi-Fi free. Okay, let's just say in the lobby, you get it for free. But in the hopes of you're congregating, you're talking business, and then you're taking advantage of the bar, the coffee shop that they have in there, the restaurant. Okay, so they'll give you something, right? And with the hopes of you partaking in the restaurant, the bar, the coffee, whatever they have to offer that's for sale, right? So that's what they're hoping that you do. Because if you go into any Marriott, they have, working desks, they got plugs everywhere, to connect your phone, to connect your laptop, all that kind of stuff. So they want you to work in there. And, with people doing this whole, working remote and, this bleisure client, business and leisure, they're tapping into that. That's what they want. So Marriott, you go to any Marriott property, they set the trend for everything in hospitality, right? All the other hotels will follow suit. Right? All the other hotel companies will follow suit when they see what Marriott's doing, right? So it's been like that for years, and I'm sure it'll be like that for years to come. So, you're wrong on this one. Chris, yes, sir. Yes, go, Chris. Congratulations, Chris. And he got thumbs up. So yeah, I like to put all the comments on here, right? And he says thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Another reason to celebrate. Yes, definitely another reason to celebrate. So continue what you do. That's messed up. So yeah, but okay. But come on, it's like free towels. What does that mean? What does that mean? The towels aren't free. What do you now you're saying that you can take towels home? People do that, and that's basically, hotels do inventory. Some hotels do inventory daily, right? Just because they want to make sure they know exactly what their par level is. Now, par level is basically, what's in the rooms, what's in storage, right? So if you can, let's see, how can I explain this? So you have whatever's in the rooms, like all the terry, which would be towels, all the linen that goes on your bed, all that. That's one par. So if you had a 100-room hotel and every hotel had everything in there, meaning the towels, the linen, all that stuff, right? It's ready to be sold. That's a par level, okay? Anything addition to that, in storage or on the carts and things like that, that's an additional par level, right? So most hotels want to have at least 3 pars, right? So if say your laundry stopped working and you weren't able to wash clothes, you can still turn it over like 2 or 3 times before you had to wash the stuff. So that's what a par level is. Hopefully I explained that right. So yeah, there's gonna be towels and terry that's discarded for because they've been ruined, they've been torn, they're discolored, they're stained. Okay, so they have to get rid of those things. Those become rags, or they actually throw those away, right? And then you got theft, meaning people take them from the hotel. Well, you got to replace that stuff, right? Terry is expensive. If you start adding these things up, it is expensive. So no, they're not giving towels away. People take them. There's no one that's saying, I've never been to any hotel. I've been to hundreds of hotels, right? Here's a free towel. You want to take this? No, no, they're not free. So people tend to take them, but they are not free. Okay, just like people take the ashtrays. Remember when hotels had ashtrays when they were smoking? People would take the ashtrays. No, that wasn't something that someone has to pay for that stuff. They inventory that stuff, right? So anything that's inventoriable, they're going to count that, and they say, okay, we lost this. Okay, we have to replace this. So we start off with 300 ashtrays in these rooms, and now we only have 200. Now we got to replace. That's 100 they got to replace. Well, those cost money, right? So no, Andrew, no. Ooh, I'm glad you're saying this stuff. I'm on a roll today. So towels are not free. Sure, there's a cost, but the hotels are making money hand over fist. That's peanuts to them. Spoken like someone who hasn't worked in a hotel and has not been responsible for a profit and loss statement. Okay, every hotel is not made the same. Every hotel is not owned by a major corporation. Okay, you may see, and I just mentioned this a while ago, just because there's a name on that sign does not mean that that company owns that hotel. Okay, most hotels are franchised, right? So you can be dealing with a mom and pop that own these hotels, right? And yeah, I'm sure hotels they do make money just like other businesses make money, but your money is less if you have to replace things, right? So if people are taking things and stealing things, and there's a lot of discard. Now there's going to be normal wear and tear. Things get stained. Okay, yeah, you're going to have to replace that stuff, right? But when people just blatantly just take things or deface things or whatever, that costs somebody money. Okay, so it's like somebody coming to your house and taking your stuff from you, right? Or spray painting on your garage door or something like that. You got to replace that stuff, right? You got to pay for that. It's the same thing, but it's just on a much bigger scale. So no, I don't think so. I wouldn't say it's not peanuts. I would definitely not say that. Jim says $1,000 per month on average hotel plus cost of support and equipment, which is often leased. So they keep you on the hook. There is an additional expense for fiber or additional bandwidth to handle. Yeah, so it's not cheap. Yeah, so you want to make sure, let me put that up there again. Does a hotel have enough bandwidth? Because what I was saying is that when you have the free Wi-Fi in the guest rooms, let's just say it's a 100-room hotel. Well, you're sharing that with 100 other people, at least, if you only have one device. How many devices do people normally travel with? So they travel at least with 2. Right, so now that's 200 devices that you're sharing with someone else, right? So it's not just the people. It's not just you got your dedicated line here. No, you're sharing with everybody. That's why Wi-Fi tends to be slow. But hotels need to make sure they have enough bandwidth to compensate or to make sure everyone is taken care of, so that they don't have any glitches and it's slow and they can't download things. That's why when I go to a hotel, if I'm doing something other than checking email, I'll pay that extra $20 for a 24-hour period because I don't want any issues, right? So it's more of a dedicated line, right? I'm not sharing with everyone else, right? If I opt for the free Wi-Fi, then I have to know that I'm sharing with everyone else, okay? And it's less secure, okay? So just kind of FYI there. Thank you so much, Jim. I need to spend an hour with Andrew and show him what it costs to run a hotel. Yes, Jim. Yes. I love this. No, not take them home, but the laundry cost for towels doesn't touch the price of $250. Andrew, you're losing this. This is one of those battles that you're losing. Just let it go, okay? Every hotel's not $250 a night. Okay. And it depends on where you are, right? So there's a lot of costs that go on involved in these things. Now, one thing I will say, certain destinations, of course, are going to be a lot higher than other destinations. Vegas, if you look at the prices of Vegas, especially over the Super Bowl, they'll gouge the heck out of you. But no one complains, right? Because they're having a good time or whatever until they get home and see that American Express bill or the Visa bill or whatever, like, oh man, what the heck was I thinking, right? So yeah, and during like Super Bowls and a lot of events, activities that are nationally known, if not internationally known, they're going to charge you a lot more, right? So they will gouge you. Okay, that's just how it happens, right? But normally, in a normal destination, it depends on where you're staying, right? If you're in a location that's popular, of course the rates are going to be higher. If you're going on dates that everyone else is going on, of course they're going to be higher. So go on off season, right? Go on non-peak times, right? So that's I always tell people, don't go when everyone else is going. My family went to Greece a couple years ago, right? And they went in March because that was off peak. Everyone else goes on the summer. They went in the early part of spring, right? And the prices were a lot less expensive. So you got to be smart about doing that, smart about travel, airfare and all that stuff. It all is impacted. It's supply and demand. So yeah, so some hotel, $250. Okay, all right. Well, is that the going rate for all the hotels during that time in that particular destination? If it is, why don't you choose another destination or choose a different date? Okay, because dates make a big impact on what you're going to pay. Let's see, what else? Yes, ouch. Yeah, you should say that. Damn, you've done your homework. Who's done their homework? Me or Jim? Jim lived this, okay? Jim lived this forever, okay? Of course, I've been a GM and a director of sales and marketing, and I know P&L statements. I know exactly, what I had to pay for, meaning my department, because that's part of your performance. You had to know what you're spending. You just couldn't just spend money willy nilly just because you thought it felt good to do this. No, you need to spend money because your client needed this or your guest needed this or whatever, right? Or you needed to operate your department, right? Every department has their own budget and what they're responsible for. Okay. Rooms has their rooms budget. The general manager has the overall budget. And then Jim was owned a management company. So they had multiple hotels that he had to, make sure that everything was in line, right? So if you got like 12, 13 hotels, you're looking at 12 and 13 P&L statements and maybe 10 owners, different owners. So you're, in conversation with these owners and they're not understanding things and he hasn't explained these things to them, just like he's explaining things to you. Just think if we had 10 Andrews, right, that he has to explain these things to, right? Because sometimes these owners, they just buy it as it's an investment, they don't know anything about running the hotel. So it takes someone like Jim to kind of explain it and break it down because you're similar to an owner right now, Andrew, okay, where you think you understand it, you think you know, but you really don't, okay? So no, nothing is free, okay? Nothing is free. So people who spend $8,000 for a ticket for a football game aren't going to be checking their bill. Okay, that's what you think, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Jackie says, I understand. I'm with Marriott myself, and we experience a lot of things you're talking about. However, my hotel residence in Las Vegas Airport is number one on TripAdvisor out of 280. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's good, right? That's good. Let me put that back up there, Miss Jackie. Thank you so much for the comment. So they're number one on TripAdvisor out of 289. That is fantastic. TripAdvisor takes in account a lot of different things that are going on, right? Service, what they paid for it, cleanliness, all those kind of things are kind of in a TripAdvisor score. So, no, that's good. And I'm a big fan of Marriott. So I already mentioned that, right? So, you got Marriott Bonvoy right ahead, right above me. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of, Marriott. And, yeah, very good. TripAdvisor, that's good. That's a good thing. You can sell. That's something you can sell. As a sales manager, I'll sell the heck out of it. I'm number one in Vegas out of 289 hotels. Boom. That's a selling point right there. What's going on? What's going rate for New York? New York is those rates can be, now I saw some rates that are, 250 and above. When I booked New York maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, it was hard to find something under $400. But it depends on the time of year that you're going. So I was booking in the summer for a group that was an international group that was coming in, and the rates were like, I think I found something about 360, something like 360. Okay, and that was a steal. But the rates have kind of come down a little bit. They're not as high as they once were. If you look on average of the destinations now, rates are actually coming down lower. They're not as high as they were maybe, let's say, last year or the year before. So check it out. Check it out. Yeah, honey, I know nothing. Yeah, well, you open yourself up to that, right? You open yourself up. I guess you thought that, people on here don't take this stuff serious, right? But no, I appreciate you coming on and saying that. That was cool. That was cool. You open yourself up, and I appreciate you opening yourself up to all this criticism. But it's a learning thing, right? So it got us to talk about the industry and how things are. And it's a misconception that some of these things don't cost a lot of money, but they do, right? So when people start taking things, of course your rate's going to go higher because they got to compensate for what they're losing. Right, so let's think about it like that. So if I have a high, I'm turning over my, my terry and my linen all the time because there's a lot of stains, there's a lot of just wear and tear or whatever the heck these people are doing in these rooms, right? Well, the price has to go up because I have to pay for this stuff, right? It's not just like I just have money just for this. All this money is just coming here for my terry and linen. No. No, it goes into your profits, your expenses, all that kind of stuff. So no, everything, not the stains. Yeah, well, you believe you. I can tell you stories about stuff. Remember, I started off in housekeeping. Right, I was a housekeeping manager for 3 years. Okay, so I ain't seen it all. I can tell stories that you guys. Oh my God. Anyway, so I see Palomar. Thank you so much. Marriott brand loyalty. Yeah, that's what it comes down to, right? I mean, like I said, every hotel company looks at what they're doing and they go from there, right? So Russell is the plug. You know what? I try, Miss Cheryl. Thank you so much, and it was great talking to you this morning. I'm glad you're doing better. I'm still waiting to hear from. Like, I got to follow with them and make another phone call because they should have called me back by now. But I will call them and let you know what they said about the conversation you and I had this morning. It seems like New York, London, et cetera, are out of control. It's all supply and demand, dude. That's all I'm gonna say. It's all supply and demand. I don't know what's going on there, but remember, you're talking about popular destinations. Okay, so LA is a popular destination. We live here. We don't think, well, why should it be a popular destination? Well, it is. It's home to Hollywood and all this kind of stuff, right? People want to come here. The weather is beautiful. We have all these concert venues and sports venues and all this entertainment. So yeah, so rightfully so, some of these prices should be higher, right? But look for certain, LA has certain pockets, right? It's not just like one, everything's downtown, right? Downtown is one pocket, Santa Monica is another one, Airport is another one. You got Beverly Hills, you got the Valley, you got the South Bay, you got all those different pockets. Long Beach, you have all those. They may be all LA County, but they're not LA City. But we know this because we live here, right? But some people come here and they're like, well, I stayed downtown and downtown sucked and it was expensive. I'm like, well, who comes to LA to stay downtown? You know what I mean? Unless you're, there for a convention or a conference or whatever. If your business is down there, I understand that. But most people wouldn't stay there. Most people that will talk to someone that's here, like, hey, maybe stay in Santa Monica. The beach is there. Or the South Bay. You got beaches there too. South Bay, like Torrance and Hermosa and what's the other one? Manhattan Beach, those kind of places there too, right? Or you got to be in the Valley. You got to be on the other side. The Valley is going to be a little cheaper than what's going to happen here in LA, right? But everything depends on what's going on in that area. So it's all about the dates, right? So always look at the dates that you're choosing to go somewhere, and the rate's going to be determined on that. And you can go from 1 week to the next, and the rate can fluctuate. It can be based on what groups are in there as well, right? So if it's a hotel that does a lot of group, or maybe it's near a business park or whatever, when business is in session, they have a lot of transient that's pushing the rate up. So there's a lot of things that are factored in there. What's going on in that destination for these rates to be higher this week compared to the next week, okay? Just think about it. And LA doesn't necessarily have seasons. Okay, so some hotels or some destinations have seasons. And when it's summer, okay, it's going to be out of control. The rate's going to be high. You know what I mean? But LA, for the most part, the seasons, kind of go into each other. It's not a big deal. We don't look at seasonality. We just look at what's going on here. What's impacting these rates? Is the Super Bowl in town? Is it the Olympics? Is it the World Cup? All those things are happening in LA. Is it the NBA All-Star game? All those things are happening in the next 3 to 5 years, right? So you want to make sure if you're coming to LA, it ain't during those times because you probably won't be able to get a hotel room. Or if you do, the rate's going to be out of control. Okay, what did Miss Cheryl say? Not the stains, yes. The beach you never see. Okay. Anyway, Andrew's an avid surfer, and every time he comes to town, I always tell him, I'll meet you over at, what do you call it? What do they call it? The lifeguard stand. I say, I'll meet you at lifeguard stand number 26. Okay. All the lifeguard stands, they have numbers, right? So I think the one I don't think it's Hermosa that he always goes to. And I always tell him, say, hey, I'll meet you at, lifeguard stand number 26. And I never show up. I've been saying that for years, right? So probably the last 10 years I've been telling him that. I never show up. Oh man, so yeah, so Andrew's a good dude. So no, Andrew spends. See, Andrew's kind of living in a different world too. Andrew spends maybe 3 months. I don't think it's 3 months, maybe 2 months here in LA. The rest of his time he lives in Italy. Okay, Ancona. Okay, near Ancona, right? That's the area that he lives in. So he only comes out here for vacation, right? So he has a vacation home here, and he lives in Italy. So I see him once a year, and someone that maybe you only see a month and a half. Okay, anyone that only comes here for a short period of time, they're kind of disconnected from reality. Okay, and that's obvious based on some of the comments he made. Right, he's obviously disconnected from reality. Okay, now in Italy, he complains about the prices then in Italy too, though, because he said, "Oh, I stayed at this hotel and it was cost X amount of dollars." I'm like, dude, I mean, you got to pay something. Even in Italy, there's fluctuations in pricing depending on what's going on. This is not just it's not unique to the U.S. It's unique to the world, right? That hotels are based on the rates are based on what is it? What are they based on? They're based on supply and demand, and you know that, Andrew. So anyway, um, I just came to make your life miserable. No, we're making your life miserable. No, I appreciate you coming on, man. Good questions. See, it's all about conversation, topics, and just tapping into things that I hadn't thought about for quite some time, right? So thank you so much. I appreciate that. You got Jim riled up too, so that's good. So I'm glad Jim was here to take on a couple of these things, and because it's a learning thing for a lot of people, right? So we don't know unless you work within a hotel, you don't know exactly how the ins and outs of a hotel, right? So that's why I'm a resource. That's why I'm here to let people know this is how it works, how rates fluctuate, things like that. You can go. I always tell my clients, and Cheryl can attest to this. I always ask for multiple dates. So if they want to have something, an event, a meeting, or whatever, I always ask for two sets of dates because one date you're at the mercy of the hotel, right? Whatever the rate is. But if you have multiple dates and you're flexible, you may be able to catch a deal on the next week or the week before or whatever. So I always let them know, like, hey, be flexible in your dates because you never know. You may be able to save, in some respects, $50 a room, per night. It can fluctuate that much, right? So, that's what I always say. So look at different dates, be flexible in your dates. Don't be set unless, if it's a board meeting and the board says we got to meet on this date, and I understand that, right? So they take whatever comes with the date that they've chosen. And I understand that, but I always want to make sure that, to let them know that, hey, if you're flexible on the date, it may save you some money. So there you go. Let's see. My invoice is in the mail. Yes. Okay. Very good, Andrew. Let's see. What else did he have to say? It's always a pleasure to see you, but I have to go. Tell Patrice I'm sorry for the. Yes. Patrice not talking to anybody. Patrice is one of our neighbors who's a huge San Francisco fan, and she's not talking to anybody. She probably won't talk to anybody for the next 2 weeks. Okay. She's sad and deeply sad, and it's like somebody died over there. I haven't seen them. That's the thing. I haven't seen them since probably last Saturday, right? They're preparing for the Super Bowl and everything, and then they lose, and then they go into a funk over there. But anyway, thank you so much, Andrew. Appreciate that. We'll talk again. I'll let her know that you send your best to her regarding San Francisco. But thank everybody for being on here. I do appreciate it. This was a good conversation, a good topic. You never know what you're walking into, right? So, and thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that because he didn't know what he was walking into. I didn't know what he was going to say. Jim darn sure didn't know what he was going to say, but we were there to pounce on him. So we were like, lions in the brush and like seeing a wildebeest coming by, and we just pounced on him because, he thought you can't just throw stuff out there, and just like, oh well, the Wi-Fi is free for hotels anyway. Why do what? Or towels are free? No, not at all. But anyway, that was good. I love that. Thank you guys so much. I think that's it, right? So I didn't mean to. 45 minutes I've been on here. Whew. I'm exhausted. Anyway, it's time to eat. I gotta go eat lunch. So anyway, you guys have a great day. And remember, I'll do this again tomorrow. I do these daily check-ins Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, around noontime for the most part, but I think I got started a little late today, but that's okay. So anyway, you guys have a great day. And questions, if you have any questions at all, that's why I put the question down here. Where is it? Right there with my email. So if you have questions at all, please feel free to send me an email and we'll go from there. So anyway, you guys have a great day. Happy Hump Day and happy Valentine's Day. And we'll see you again tomorrow. As always.